Extreme Chronics from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for January 15th, 2020, live in Miami, Florida. In previous weeks, we've had the homecoming show, we've had the anniversary show. Well, what are we gonna do this week? Well, for the first time in 20 years, we got Bash at the Beach. Oh my goodness, wait a second, but it's January, and it's winter, and we're gonna have a Bash in the Beach? Who freaking cares? It is past due, and of course, it's AEW, so they gotta go all out, hashtag. And they had the stage set up, they had sand, they had surfboards, they had bamboo sticks, I think I saw some kind of sailboat, yes! They had beach balls and even beach babes. So I was already on board since the get-go. I love these custom stages. They brought it back in somebody. I don't know who owns the name, but we do need to have Halloween Havoc back at some point. Even Justin Roberts was dressed up. Yes, we had camera guys dressed up in their special beach gear, and even the commentators had a little bit of that beach action going on, and Tony Schiavone, boy, he will drop at a hat to throw on a Hawaiian shirt. This man will do it. And we're kicking off the show in a big way. It's going to be a #1 contenders match for the tag team championships. All right, so we're going to throw every freaking tag team we can find that's not already booked. We got the Young Bucks versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus Santana and Ortiz versus Trent and Chuck Taylor. And yes, next week, the winner of this match right here is going to take on SCU, the AEW Tag Team Champions. And yes, the fans, they are on their feet already. They are all into this action here. There are so many freaking moonsaults in this match. Even the casually dressed camera guys are having a hard time keeping up with the action. And I don't blame them. There was a lot of bodies flying around in this match. It's hard to cover no matter how many camera guys you got. And I hope they weren't wearing sandals, because I feel like somebody might be falling over if that was the case, but I don't think so. Okay, the referee, he does get popped at one point. He's not completely out, but you know, he's got to adjust himself a little bit. And all these men get in the ring and they're going for a huge suplex. I'm talking about like everyone is conjoined in this thing, but they're fighting back and forth. They can't really seem to get themselves all the way up, all the way over. So who is the man to come in and make this happen? None other than Orange Cassidy. Well, he freshly squeezes himself with his hands in his pockets into this joint, and he is able to successfully maneuver this huge man suplex. It was a spectacle to see for sure. I mean, there were so many people flying. It was a little bit absurd, but it warranted a best friend's hug and an ultra zoom out. So at least the hard camera guy, he knew he was ready, and boy did he zoom out. And that was nice and all for the best friends. It was a nice little spot for them, but you know what? When you have Kenny Omega and Hangman Page hit both of their finishers at the same time, as a tag team combination move, you really just can't kick out of that. And Page and Omega win, and next week they will be taking on SCU, the tag team champions. And I have a feeling that Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, even though they won here, even though they successfully worked as a team in this particular occasion, I don't think they're walking out the champions. I just don't see that happening. And I know I am not the only one. So Time to Lose will be next week. Next, we have Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is coming out to cut his promo on MJF. And well, you already know it's gonna be good. Cody Rhodes on the mic, especially in this feud with MJF, where MJF himself, man, he is a hell of a talker. So Cody Rhodes, he's got to come swinging. He puts up on the screen the stipulations for the match they will be having at Revolution. The stipulations, which include Wardlow in a cage match with Cody Rhodes, which I'm not sure when that's happening, the 10 lashes, and the stipulation that he can't touch MJF. And quite honestly, that to me seems like it's going to be the hardest thing to follow. But you know what he mentions? Cody Rhodes mentions, I look at Wardlow and I don't know if Wardlow should actually be the one who is carrying the bags here, kind of taking shots at Cody. Now, Cody, don't go too far now. We haven't seen a lot from Wardlow, but I have a feeling that, there's probably a reason for that. Now, MJF, he's a hell of a wrestler, and we'll see later tonight really what this man can do. But Cody, he accepts these stipulations. So, those are a hell of a lot of stipulations, and I'm a little bit surprised that Cody's going to go through with all this, but he's confident in himself. He'll go through hell or high water to get his retribution. So, yeah. Good job, Cody. You got a tall order ahead of you. All of these things you accept, but I am confident that Cody Rhodes is going to be able to take care of business when it comes to that. He even says that he is going to give MJF a lasting scar. Now, I don't know if that was a metaphor or if that was a literal thing. Maybe both. We'll find out at AEW next pay-per-view. Revolution. It's going to be a revolution, man. Going to see if he's going to get a new scar. Now, we see MJF right after this walking backstage. He looks pretty butthurt. And yes, Wardlow is carrying the bags. Well, it's got wheels, so it's not really all that bad, is it? He's still butthurt. Oh, and speaking of butthurt, we got Joey Janela, and he's talking about Penelope Ford and when he got hit in the balls and everything. So, I suppose Joey Janela has a legion of fans that loves these kind of promos. I'm not too sure. Next up, we got Brandy and Mel with Luther taking on Chris Statlander and Sheeta. Now, originally, it wasn't supposed to be Brandy in this match. We were going to have Awesome Kong, but she got sick. I don't know how bad that sickness was. I know last week there was a wrestler who was working sick. It was one of the Young Bucks, wasn't it? Maybe there was more than one. Anyways, there was at least one person who was sick in previous weeks wrestling. So I don't know what kind of sickness this was. Hopefully she'll get better, because obviously it was too bad to wrestle in this match. I don't know what was going on with Mel in this match. I know she's a pretty good wrestler from what I've seen on the independent scene, but my goodness, I don't know if the loss of hair took away some of her magical wrestling powers or what, but holy crap. This crappy kick in here, and then just this failed outside move by Chris Statlander. I don't think it was her fault. I really think it was the way that Mel took it on both occasions. It was just, yikes. What is going on in here? The crowd's momentum was kind of like, oh, they weren't booing Mel or saying you suck or anything like that, but it was kind of like, oh, I feel bad for you. What is happening to you in this match? But to be honest, Awesome Kong would be much more well-trained, and Brandy, well, it's Brandy. And she wasn't even supposed to be in this match, and when she did get in this match, she really didn't do anything offensively. She just took like a clothesline and stuff like that. So, nothing really to see there. I hope that's not going to continue on like this. I hope that this was just a stinker, because I hope that's not why they're calling them the Nightmare Collective, this nightmare that they had in this match. But anyways, Big Bang Theory, poof, that's it, explosion, and Chris Statlander, she comes away as the winner. So good for her. She's winning a lot of matches recently, isn't she? They believe in her, and I kind of feel like she should be the next women's champion. She's really the one that's really standing out here. Well, you got Sheeta and everything, but something about Chris Statlander, and I don't think it's just her boop. It's she's really standing out to me. Next, we have the Dark Order. They're having this video package where they're trying to recruit new members. It's kind of like a boardroom meeting, camera angle kind of thing. That's what it looks like. You have this big boss in the background. You can't see, he's behind the camera, and he's got this voice that's been altered. Who is this guy? I don't know. Who freaking knows? Is somebody they don't have signed? Are they gonna tell us? I don't know. Every time they have a new promo, a new video, I got more questions than I got answers. Hopefully the Dark Order will be providing us answers. And maybe I need to join the Dark Order. Maybe that will get me in on some meetings so I'll actually get some answers. But they're looking at Michael Nakazawa. They're trying to figure out how they can get Kenny Omega, Brandon Cutler. Can they get Hangman Page in there? I mean, he looks like a freaking disaster with his drinking problem and whatever storyline they're trying to do with him. Maybe the Dark Order can throw on something a little bit better onto this. Well, we don't know. But next, we do know what we're going to have. It's Sammy Guevara versus Moxley. I thought going into this match that Jon Moxley was just going to steamroll right over this boy, Sammy Guevara. But Sammy Guevara, he was able to hold his own. His ass cheeks were able to hold his tights without sucking him in up in there. So, congratulations on that. That's something I did not expect. I did not expect this match to go on this long, but Sammy Guevara, you know, he tries a little too much with his high-flying antics, and he flies himself directly into a submission, and it's lights out because he taps out, and Jon Moxley, he walks away the victor. Now, I anticipated this, but I did not anticipate the tenacity of Sammy Guevara. That boy, he's going to be a big star. He is so young. He's so fresh in this, but he is going to be a big deal, and I can't wait to see this. But right now what we're going to see is Chris Jericho. His music hits, lights go out, we don't see anything, nothing but blackness, and when the lights come back on, oh no, there is a whole gang of the Inner Circle, and they start attacking. Like dogs, they attack. You got the whole Inner Circle there, and you see Chris Jericho. You know, he appeared there and he had his jacket on. Not just any jacket, not a light up jacket, no. A spike jacket. And I'm talking about some big spikes. Some spikes that you can't even get into a concert with. I'm telling you, one time I went to a Disturbed concert. It was, 2005. And they were checking to see how long your spikes were. And I thought, dang, I legitimately, back in those days, I had some spikes up on my wrist and I had to take those off, and I was super sad. Very sad day, but they didn't check Chris Jericho. Oh no, he came in there with them big spikes. And he took one of those spikes off, put it in his hand, and he attacked the crap out of Moxley. It looked like he got him in the eye. Oh my gosh, anywhere in your face would be a no-go. It looked pretty freaking bad. It went on. They had the medical professionals, referees, anyone they could get out there. Through the commercial break, this looked pretty bad. So looks like Moxley is out of action, or is he? We'll find out later. Hopefully we'll get some kind of update, and I got some updates for you in an upcoming page. So as we move on, we have a backstage interview about last week. You have right there Chris Jericho and his posse, the Inner Circle, and they're like, well, Chris Jericho is saying, well, last week, freaking Jon Moxley hit me with a bottle over my head and that hurted. All that glass went everywhere. So basically, this was just a little bit of payback. Eye for an eye, you see. So, you know what? I gotta hate Chris Jericho for attacking a man so viciously, but at the same time, he's right. I mean, he did get attacked. All he wanted to do was celebrate. And, you know, just dang. Just too far, though, with the spike. Oh, and I do got to mention, I did miss this. When Jon Moxley came out, he came out in that Ford GT. So I thought he was going to leave last week in the Ford GT, but he arrived in the Ford GT, and that was pretty cool. Although, if he was in the arena, you may not have known it if you didn't see it, because that was the quietest damn car I've ever seen. I don't have a Ford GT, but if I did, I would imagine it would be pretty loud. And, well, it had some pipes on it when we first saw that car a couple of weeks ago, right? Well, for whatever reason, I don't know if they didn't have it mic'd up properly, or it just was very quiet because it came off of a dealer's lot somewhere, a show car. It was silent. And they didn't play Jon Moxley's music, so there was no cover for it. It was just silence. People cheering and Jon Moxley walking through the crowd. Well, he might have walked through the crowd, but he barely made it to the back under his own power. As we move on, it is MJF with Wardlow and Butcher and Blade with the Bunny taking on QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and DDP. So DDP back in the ring since 2016, and his first match at Bash at the Beach since he fought Macho Man Randy Savage. So you know that was a long time ago, over, what, 2 decades? 2 decades ago, oh my goodness, holy crap. So QT Marshall living the dream. Freaking in a match with DDP, I bet he was excited. So, for whatever reason, QT Marshall came to the ring with a green apple. I don't know if that's because he's a green dude or what. Or, well, a red apple was already trademarked. I don't know. But he did that. I don't really understand. All I thought about was old Carlito. But anyways, MJF, he's talking a lot of mess recently about DDP and how he's going to end him and how he couldn't lace up his boots and all this kind of crap, whatever. But when it comes down to it, he doesn't want to get in the ring with this aging man. I know he looks great. He's very flexible, but boy, does he look old. Much respect to the legend. But he doesn't want anything of him. What I'm saying is MJF is in great shape. He's young. And golly, he is talented. He was making some moves in here that I was impressed with. Things that I have not seen him do recently. He lets QT Marshall get into the ring instead. And QT Marshall, you know what? He's got some moves himself. But MJF, man, he just wasn't ready. But once DDP gets that tag in, and once he gets his hands on old MJF, he goes for the diamond cutter, but MJF, he is one slippery snake, and he low blows freaking DDP. How disrespectful, oh my goodness. But he does actually get that diamond cutter in, and DDP even does a stage dive from the top rope to the outside. Holy crap. Hitting everybody that was on outside, and MJF, on the inside though, he rolls up QT and wins the match. So sad day. DDP didn't get to win this match. MJF coming out of here, sliding through like a snake. SCU, they're trying to cut a promo backstage, but once again they get interrupted. This time a drunk Hangman Page, he interrupts. So next week they're going to fight at sea, and I hope that none of these men are seasick. And especially not Hangman Page with all the drinks that he's been having recently. Because next week, they're going to fight on the high seas. Now we come into the main event. It is the main event of Pac versus Darby Allin. I did see earlier in the night that Pac was looking at a skateboard backstage. I don't really know what that was about. He didn't seem to steal it or jack it or mess it up, because Darby Allin was able to skateboard his way to the ring. Darby Allin, let me just say, he is a crazy man. He got powerbombed on the solid steel steps. Holy bejesus, why would you do these things? He is a crazy man. The announcers call him a phenom, an enigma, whatever you call him. A black arrow to the back after you got freaking powerbombed on steel steps. That is not going to work, because Pac, he comes away as the winner. And my goodness, Darby Allin, he's a good dude. He is a good wrestler. I wouldn't call him a phenom, and I wouldn't call him an enigma, because I feel like that's just jacking other people's names. But he's a big deal, and he's gonna be a big star. I mean, he may not be to that level quite yet, but he's going to be one of AEW's mainstays. Believe it. He did hit that coffin drop before the end of the night, but it was a nail in the coffin for him for sure. By, just hurting himself. Maybe he doesn't need to be doing all of this. I got stuff falling behind me, freaking me out. So Pac gets on the microphone with Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he says that he is the number one contender. And he must have said it loud, because in the back, inside of an ambulance, Moxley was like, what? He pops out of there. He's got his eye covered up where he has been stabbed in the eye. His ears still work just fine, even maybe better, because you know they say if your eyes get taken away, then your hearing increases. That must have been the occasion here. One of his eyes went down, so one of his ears was working great. He was like, wait a second. So he busts out of this ambulance, comes down to the ring, and lets this man know that I'm still here, son, and next week they're going to have a match, Pac versus Moxley, and I suppose this is going to be how we find out who really is the number one contender. That was AEW Dynamite, an exciting show to be sure, but next week we're going to be on the high seas, part of the Rockin' Ranger Chris Jericho event. I believe that's going to be for the next 2 weeks, and then they're going to be in Georgia, if I remember correctly. I'm excited to see what a show is going to be like on a cruise liner. Are they actually going to have a show on a cruise liner? Are they really going to? How do you do that? Am I mistaken? Are they going to film this live? Did they say from the Bahamas? Oh my goodness. That's going to be crazy. I hope they have a good feed. I hope they have a good internet connection, a good satellite connection. I can't wait till next week, and I will catch you guys next time.